Okay. Now they're talking about exorcisms themselves, right? So this is going to be kind of important because what I'm looking for is how they're going to see this culturally, right? Like, how does this actually play out for them? Like, how are they going to feel all this coming through, right? Cured. Okay, so they're saying it right off the bat that sometimes people get cured, right, for proper treatment. So they're talking about their viewpoint on exorcisms in general. And so this is nothing new, right? This has been going on since the world was created. Right? So that they also believe in ghosts, spirits, vampires. So this is what they're coming in with. So this is great because we get to see absolutely into their culture, right? Like what's going on. Right? He says he's going to pee places because there's ghosts and spirits. This happened to him. And this is a dude who's coming with cultural experience that he himself has been possessed by a spirit, right? So this is where this guy's mindset is. So this is a great intersection of like culture and what happens to you. My grandfather took me to an exorcist scholar, right? And he exorcised me. So this guy's coming with personal experience. I've never been through an exorcist, right? We cannot do any harm to such evil forces, but we can be careful wherever we go. So this is very important about how they feel. Like we're getting their cultural input. And, we take precautions, you stay away from evil forces, right? Stuff like that. So it's good to be careful. I like that, right? And you got three guys, and I can tell by reading their body language, this is all new culturally for them, right? Every single part of this is new for them. They weren't, even, what I'm hoping to do is to draw some attention to even American style of showing movies, right? They've never seen anything like this. He's talking about the spiritual world, but I'm talking about the part that they're not going to anticipate is movie techniques, right? That we're used to. Things that are shocking to us, where they were initially shocking to us, aren't as shocking to us anymore, right? And they've never seen any of this stuff before. So this is going to be interesting to get their kind of reactions, right? I haven't seen stuff. I like the mix of guys that we got here. We got, obviously a younger dude, a couple of maybe a middle age. I'm thinking the guy in the center is probably more middle of the road age, and this guy speaking is the elder statesman of the group, right? And they talk about God, right? God should not be given to trouble. So hey, let's get to it. Like they're talking about it. Like they're talking about The Exorcist. The name of the movie we're gonna watch is The Exorcist. So give me cultural understanding, right? You can see right off the bat their reaction. They're giving the time frame and the context of the movie is going to allow them to evaluate it better, right? And then we're going to get your feedback based on what you see. So this is an excellent way for us to set this up. And they've been hearing all this stuff previously. So let's see the movie. They're ready to get into it. I'm ready to get into it. You guys are ready to get into it. Right. So this is good. This is kind of off the good thing. I'm going to wrap up here a little bit. And you can see right off the bat, I think it's kind of interesting that we see them like, obviously they identify like a Muslim country right off the bat, right? This is what it's in. And you see they're very observant guys. And, what we see, and he's like, okay, this is Iraq. So they're identifying the landscape already. So they're into it, right? I mean, these guys even start talking about how much money that they're making here. The old man is also working. So you got three super observant guys. So we see that about them right off the bat. Okay? And what they're able to pick, sure there's some language and things like that that's going on. But this is an important moment because you see the face of the devil. He identifies it right off the bat, right? And then just like the whole scene of what's going on right now. They're already into it, right? And they can kind of sense it. Right? The sounds of the drum, the work going faster. So what they're doing is picking up on the pacing, which if you want to see a masterclass in pacing, watch The Exorcist, but don't be afraid. If you cannot be afraid, this is excellent pacing. This is next level pacing. So they're kind of putting it together. They see again with all the cultural stuff. They're still putting all this stuff together. Right, and they're getting a good sense of it. And like I said, this is a great film because they really work the audience. I don't know if you guys realize it, but they don't have free time. These houses are all block hours, so you see they're making a connection. Who's standing there watching? They're observant of everything. And even this scene, be careful, uncle, how they identify the elder in their culture, right? This is how they would call them. Same way we do it, right? So they sense the tension, right? And the danger, right? And they feel the danger, right? And look, again, like their appreciation for the art is a cultural thing, the artifacts. All ancient things. So they're already kind of comfortable with that. Now, I like their instinct. Now, this is again the main theme. This is Pazuzu. And he recognizes it, and you can kind of see the concern on their face. And they identify the danger right off the bat. So, right off the bat, I'm going to say with these three guys, before I get any further, what we're seeing from the audience is three guys who are already deeply invested in it. Obviously, they were told that we're here to get your reactions to this, but look at their stance. They're all up, they're super engaged, right? That's what's going on, is a hyper level of engagement, right? So let's keep going to the film. Thank you for everyone who stopped in, by the way. Right. So now we're getting to the America. Now they're in America, okay? And she hears, this is like the early signs of what's going on. And so, and even like, the milkman has arrived. So like they know some American like terminology, right? But they have no idea what's happening to this little girl. They have a slim idea, but not as much marketing. So I think there's a thief. Why was she even moving around? Right? We're going to find out now. She sees a little girl, so they immediately key on this. Her mother's giving her loving.
Good morning, madam.
Yes,
And obviously we see the affluence, like all the workers in there. These guys can see the stuff too. Right? It's nighttime, what's going on? And then, it's kind of a jump cut, so they start to get the characters, and this is kind of a sense of who she is. So, we're seeing the landscape, and again, they're trying to figure out who's going to be the important one, because we still haven't identified that. I think her name is Christine, is the one, right? So everything's going well, everything's seems fine in the future as well, because they're seeing like what we're set up. And that's the trick, that you see a woman who has everything. Again, this is a wonderful view. That's technique 100%, right? This is, like everything they're saying is they're identifying the setup, right? Now, we probably know already, when you hear things that are too idyllic as consumers of American films, we know the setup already. We already know this. These guys are going to be set up for a shock in a way that we have already kind of been desensitized to. Just a little bit. Like, American film techniques obviously still work on us, but they don't work on us like they would without, with people that are fresh coming to it, right? So let's get back into it, right? Right. So they're even trying to figure out like what the meaning, who they're showing. They understand it. And even like what the relationships are between the women, right? And obviously this is Reagan, the first time you really kind of get to see her speak. And it's playful, it's fun, right? You see how relaxed these guys appear to be? And another cultural point, right? The train is awesome. They have trains there. Our train system's pretty good. This is America in 1973 with our subway system, which is pretty well developed, right? Closed door train, right? So they're identifying culture. One train is parked, and they start seeing like the hints of things. So now you in the ghetto. They identify what's wrong in the ghetto. Kids jumping on the cars. They see the spatial difference, right? And there's something secret about this guy. We kind of know that this is the father who's going to be integral, but they don't even know he's a priest yet. So they're able to focus just on his relationship with their mother. While the rest of us might be like, okay, he's a priest. We know this is an exorcism. They're skipping over all that because they don't identify him necessarily. He doesn't look like what a holy man looks like in their eyes. So they're focusing on what they can see, which is the mother relationship. And they're spot on. This is a son taking care of his mother. We can all understand that, and they get that. That's cross-cultural pretty easily, right? No, move this over because I want this more centered here if I can. Oh, I can't. Right.
I'll show you.
Table tennis की fan है वो लगता है.
Okay. Then the table tennis, right? This is just a cultural connection that they see it, we see it, right?
Captain Harry, that isn't very nice.
Well, maybe he's sleeping.
You think?
वो किससे बात कर रही हो?
Okay. And this is a time, like, this is a cultural moment because they're talking about mobile phones. 1973, we don't even have mobile phones in America. That's like, we're like 20 years out. But they're enjoying what they're seeing right now. And again, like, this is a great moment because this young actress, she epitomizes this, like, cute, this is a cute, like, very, upper class environment, and visually everything's lining up. So you can see these guys, this guy's actually kind of smiling. This guy's just kind of curious here. You can see this guy's still keeping his like stance. He's well composed because nothing's like grating against him yet, right? The psychology of the movie the gravity of it hasn't set in yet, but it will, okay? Everybody's happy right now. Clever girl, right? They're laughing. This is important. Right now, they're fully enjoying everything they're seeing. A mother and a daughter interacting.
But I'm not gonna marry one.
Like him like Daddy?
Joking with her mother, talking about her father. Life is good. She will joke with them, and they get it. And look at their reactions. Watch their faces while they're watching. Like seeing a mother loving is very common. Now we're back to the priest, who they still don't recognize as a holy man, right? But they recognize that he's been shown again. So there's a reason here, right? He's important for a reason.
It's my mother, Tom.
And he's talking to another holy man, which they still don't identify as being holy men yet. Were there phones in 1973? A cultural thing. Yes, there were phones in 1973. There were phones at that time, obviously, right? And she's on the phone. And she's kind of talking about Reagan. Yeah, they sense her emotion. And now you can see their faces are, the middle guy's getting a little more concerned. She will say hello. They're picking up on keys about us. That's funny as hell. Right. And look at their faces. They're all still concerned. They're all leaning forward. But there's definitely something that's going on. Now they're starting to sense that energy. They're starting to sense that pace, right? That we would probably pick up on pretty quickly. And they're like, okay, what's she investigating? There's mice, right? This is an interesting thing. She got the ladder out, right? Okay, that was an important thing he said, right? I just want to... Seems to be mice. This is an important thing, right? Because their homes are different than ours, right? When you see the reaction. And abroad, houses are like this, right? So they're identifying like some cultural things. These are important things because the way that their houses are built are different. You saw when they showed, the parts of the Middle East, they quickly identified, this looks like Iraq. They were able to identify the Iraqis. So they understood all the signs of that. And now they're showing their cultural awareness of how Americans kind of live, like what's going on over here in America. So this is an important moment, like just in terms of like the cultural relevance, like what we're seeing in them experiencing Western culture. Okay. And again, this is before any of these demons get up in here, right? Right. It's a ghost movie, so it's natural. I'm starting to get scared right now, and you can see the look on their faces has changed. If you are, she's going upstairs. They get what it is. Like again, they're selling the pacing, they're selling the tension, right? Her kind of making her way through here, like the lighting was, and then if there had been a rat, right? If the problem had been rats, he says it right. There's no rat. This is not a rat problem. And they use their logic to quickly identify. If there are rats, some of these rats, would have been trapped, right? That's what he's arguing. So they're seeing a little dissension between these guys. Right? And now you see it, like, what's happening. You can see the tension. Look at the elder statesman guy here. I'm going to call him LD, right? Respectfully, LD. He's got a lot of concern. He's like, uh-oh. I've seen this stuff before, and he's the guy who said he has seen demons. So the youngest guy has never seen this stuff, right? And he talks instantly about going back to the church. So they recognize the holy place pretty quickly. They see the reverence of it, and they're right in line. Like, this is what you're supposed to do. You can see they get a sense of calm, like they're kind of back to calm, although LD seems to be a little more worried about it. No one comes to church, pastor's making preparations. So they're kind of understanding it. And they see that imagery, like that imagery kind of starts. And again, you can see their reactions, again, that they're a little more concerned. They're not just laughing at what the scenery was. It's a marked difference from watching her interact with just the mother and the daughter, where they were able to laugh through it, where they verbally said it, but you can see the signs of them physically kind of getting adjusted to the fact that something's not right here. There's a reason to be concerned. So let's be concerned, right? Oh man, oh my God, right? And this is really interesting because they sense something spiritual that's going on. The Western reaction is to take her to a doctor, right? They think this is Reagan, and now she's getting shot, okay? And they're like, what's happening to her? They aren't good. She was fine just a minute ago, right? Now they got all this stuff. I'm worried about her. See? Yeah, you see now, you see that little flash here? That little flash is what we like to call editing brilliance, right? Just a quick pop. But you see the reaction that they all have. Everybody's posture has changed. Young guy here, his hands are up. Remember, he's always been sitting like this. This, and, mid guy right in the middle. Now this is kind of a protective thing. And you can see LD, he's just like, uh-oh, this is a problem. Because they just saw that she saw a ghost. And they already know what this is going to mean. This is already problematic, right? So something's getting ready to happen now, and it ain't good. He's shaking his head because it ain't good, right? And you can see like the Western approach to it, and she's upset, and he's upset that she's upset. And again, the scenario, like what it looks like, it's so antiseptic. And here's the thing, right? This is something that kind of passed over them, that never passed me, and maybe didn't pass a lot of other, American viewers, right? It's this moment right here, okay. Okay, Reagan. Not this part. We're getting to it, right? Okay, something's scary. They're getting upset, right? They're recognizing all this stuff. Okay. And it's this. No, come on. Right there. Okay. Now, a lot of us will feed right into what her look actually means. I'm a little surprised that they kind of dismiss this, because this is like, for the 70s, this is American fashion at its height. Like everything, she's fully accessorized, and that kind of tells us a lot more about who she is, where she fits. We've already seen the house and all that stuff. I'm kind of surprised that kind of passed them up. But again, they're focused on this ghost or demon. So that's where their priorities are, for a good reason. And we see her progressively getting weirder, right? They see it. What's happening to this girl? She's acting like increasingly, as they say it, weird. And they don't know. And the doctor's trying to figure this out.
My daughter isn't depressed.
See, and they're already saying that don't listen to him. Show the girl to an exorcist right off the bat. Like right off the bat, they're like, skip all this. I don't even know what's going on. Take this girl to an exorcist, because he doesn't understand. What these guys are doing is culturally making condemnation against Western science, because for them, culturally, the two were never separated. And this is a lot of older cultures. They didn't separate their science from their spirituality, right? So he doesn't get go to an exorcist. Right? He's a mind doctor, right? He's not going to get treatment from. So they're already dismissing. He doesn't understand anything about it. That's very powerful. And here she's upset, right? We get why the problem that she's been brought here. When they're saying it isn't a mental problem. So we kind of see this progression and this split culturally right off the bat. And this is a really, really impactful scene, because this is the first scene where Reagan really starts to show what's going on. You get a good look at how this, the party atmosphere, obviously the affluence, you have a mix of crowd. Well, not really. Within that demographic, a pretty good mix. And so they're just conversating, right? And they're picking it up. And they're picking up that, you can see the look on her face as he's breaking down, some things like his mother, his mother passed away for the other person. Okay. And then again, like the debauchery, you drink so much you can't stand. I'm sure they have drinking and stuff like that over too, so that's not a big deal. But this is where it is, where Reagan comes in, see the look on her face, you're gonna die, like that prophecy, and then she pees right on the floor. The girl pees standing up, so they already know it's something wrong here. You can see the shift in there, that something is wrong. This could be a very serious problem for a little girl to get up and pee on the floor, and they're right, and they're moving us through the slow pace of the movie. And again, he's already like, imagine they go to the exorcist right off the bat, right? Her voice is someone else, so they're seeing this. Believe the voice was someone else, the voice that is speaking. The spirit inside of her is forcing her to speak. Don't take her to the doctor, take her again, then her life will be saved. You see how he's breaking it down. It's simple math for him. She doesn't need medicine, she needs prayers. This is important. And they all agree on that. They're all in agreement across this, this age range. They're all in agreement. She saw something that made her scream. Now it's setting off. And you can see like the shock on their faces, right? Like this is it, right? This is a very telling moment. Look at all their reactions. LD is like, clearly look, I didn't seen some shit before. Mitty is right there with him. The young guy is like grappling with it, right? Because a part of him doesn't, he understands he's part of the culture, but he hasn't seen this stuff himself. So I'm sure, and you got to think, for Vilagers, their storytelling was more written or oral. So they could describe, scenes, but to be able to see, the Hollywood film capabilities depict this. For them, this has got to be the first time that they're seeing something like this. And I remember my first time watching this film, and I kind of had a similar reaction to it. So this is just showing that these film techniques are working. The film techniques actually cross the cultures pretty easily. So we're able to see this kind of reaction. This is evil force. There's no getting free in time. This is the lifeless girl's in danger. Quickly recognizing like this is massive danger.
There was nothing you could do.
And then, while we're seeing this priest, building up the priest backstory, and it's all about may her soul rest in peace. Like, they're very conscious of this grieving process and very empathetic. They have great empathy for it as he's dealing with his grief. He's running to his mother, right? And his mother's gone already. They already know that, right? Because he had a prophetic dream and waking up knowing it's reality. So we're back to Reagan, and she's progressively getting worse. They're giving her pills. Her body's being pierced with injections, which is terrible to them. These people don't understand, right? Very criticizing the culture, right? And again, back on the focus to the doctor, we're seeing her increased frustrations.
Oh, no, that was not spasm.
Right? You're smoking a cigarette yourself. How can you cure somebody? And if he had seen the bed, he would start to understand. So they're operating the doctor's, he's taking his joke, but they are concerned with Reagan. They care about Reagan. She's a very little nice girl. They all have opinions about it. Eldon's just stuck. He can't even, Yeah. So, and again, okay, so this is them looking at the MRI scan. This is, Western technology. They're thinking it's a blood pressure thing, so there's a little bit of cultural, a misstep in understanding exactly what they're doing. But they're still outraged. And you'll see this scene itself. I remember the scene. It's a stressor. It's a stressor because you see what Western medicine does, right? Look at what they're doing. They're very observant of that. It feels so weird seeing this, how we handle a human body. And it's going to get worse. Again, culturally grabbing what they see, it looks like henna, right? Being applied to her. Culturally identifying scene, right? I gotta close my eyes, I can't see this. This is a terrifying scene right there. You can see their reaction to these needles being inserted into this girl's body. Very stressful. Like, what is happening to her? What are they doing to her? Like, injecting into the neck. Like, and again, like her, I can't even watch the scene myself, man. This is a rough one right here. But all like the same reaction. They're all in distress watching the scene. They see them as students who are practicing. You can't know what you're doing if you're doing this, right? And this loss of blood. And, as far as film techniques, like this is a great scene because you see her pain, you see how much she's bleeding, the discomfort from the mother. Let's also say it's brilliant acting in this movie. And her mother standing by there watching her, and like how terrifying this must be for the mother. Right. I have no guts to see this at all. That's impactful. That's very powerful. And their only concern is what's happening to the girl because they see this as so wrong and no one is ready to understand. Like, they're not ready to move forward in understanding. And they're taking all these scans of her. And it's a skull. So they recognize it's a skull. Right? You're not going to see anything, is what they're saying. You're not going to see, okay, now it's really getting into it. The doctor's there now. Okay, look at their distress. What the hell is this? Okay, like someone's tossing her, but there you see that moment with her eyes. Again, right? There's an evil spirit inside the girl. You can see, like, the first time how powerful it is. Lord, we apologize, right? Who the hell is inside? So they identify it as a who. Who is inside this little girl? And they see the mother, like they're really concerned, like the empathy from these guys is a lot about their culture. And the doctor's still giving her, and after you see all that, right, doctors have no idea about ghosts and devils, which is true. This is 100% true.
Probably sleep through tomorrow. States. Accelerated motor performance. Same principle, I mean.
They still don't understand. Like, they're explaining it right, and this is all spiritual beliefs. Like, they're recognizing a spiritual event. Give him a hard slap. She's like, slap shit out this dude because they don't know what they're talking about, and they're putting your daughter's rights, right?
will involve them.
Take this girl to get an exorcist. Right. Again, the mother is fully, invested in what the doctors are telling her. She just wants her daughter to get well, and you can see all the angst. Like, they're seeing this technology acting crazy, not being helpful, and just putting her in a lot of pain. And they're seeing how, like, documenting how the girl's changing.
No.
That you're speculating. Hey, what's up, Doomy? What up, Doomy? I'm back in here just breaking down The Exorcist. So I'm gonna be here for a little while. We're only about halfway through this, right? So let's check it out. Right? So the mother's angst, like the tension, the music, and this story is serious. Like, you could see the look on his face. You can see the look on his face, right? And then this foreshadowing. We know it's not a power failure, but he knows something's about to go wrong. He's already identified the blinking lights that something really getting ready to go on. Somebody needs to check on LD, right? Because he's shook by all this. And they're anticipating it, right? Watch their faces. They're ready for it. Okay, uh-oh. It's very cold in here. They get that. Like, why is it so cold in here? The girl's sleeping. And they can assume, right? Sleeping injections is to blame for this issue. I never figured out who that girl was. Is that like another sister? Who is that?
Brooke's dead.
And this was the first death in this scene, and how impactful it is for her, right? So they're seeing, like, the tension that's growing. This innocent girl, like, how intensely bad this actually is. Now, this is it. Okay, this is a moment I definitely had to talk about here, right? This is a film technique that we have to, like, hey, I gotta get back here. I'm moving it too much, right? Okay, it's coming up. I gotta be ready for it. Right? Okay, this is an important moment in filmmaking. Okay. This here, again, this is 1973. We've never seen this as an audience either. Okay, now it's a lot more prevalent. This spider walking, this backwards walking, crab walk, whatever they call it. This was I'm almost certain this is the first time we saw this film technique in any movie. So the impact it had rippled across American screens. That was the highlight scene. These guys have never been introduced. By this time, we've all seen this thing. They shot this 2 years ago. So I've probably seen this thing done a dozen times in various films. Every time it's equally disturbing, but never as impactful as that first time. So they're getting the first time they're observing, a film technique that, as far as I can tell, developed here with this film, a brilliant technique. Yeah, and you see their reactions. They're like, uh-oh. This is something a whole different thing. So they're like, yeah. Everybody, okay, the youngest guy, watch his reaction, because the youngest guy reacts to it the hardest, which is surprising. He usually doesn't break form like that. But he's starting to get that it's very serious, right?
Come forward.
Yeah. Now he's gone, right? They're recognizing this girl's out of control. Right now they're blaming the priest for it, right? He's blaming the priest for it, so there's a disconnect there. But, we're starting to see, like, this coalition kind of start to develop, start to get together where they're going to be at with this. These two guys obviously be very impactful. And I can't remember who lives. Like, a couple of these guys are going to die, right? But he's a connection to this family right now. He's the conduit, the gentleman in the hat, the police officer. He's the conduit between these two. And he's going to start talking to him about, getting over and checking out this family.
Confidential. Didn't happen in the fall? Because if you knew, you wouldn't tell, huh? No, I probably wouldn't. I hate to go alone. I love to...
And obviously he wants to have that spiritual guy. He's talking to him sweetly, right? He's talking him into something. He gets that. Humans need love. That's an interesting observation that they get out of this, is that humans need love.
Now answer the question, Father Paranoia.
right? So they're sensing tone, they're sensing
You
pacing.
look like Sal Mineo.
Leads to the patient's delusions that his body has been invaded by some.
So again, they're back to the people are not stopping because they can't understand. I wish that they understood. This is a big scene, and she's surrounded by all these Western doctors, and how her reaction is to them. Yeah, she's walking like a spider, but these people are talking like it seems ridiculous to them that these are the conversations, that they really don't understand what to these guys is more natural world. She was good earlier, she was talking to her mother well, right? He's observant. This guy hasn't missed anything. Then suddenly the devil dominated her. Yeah. So they're showing that it's being revealed. There's a lot to think about here.
Can make it disappear.
So again, the doctor, they're bringing her to another spot to be in. The policeman is the bridge, and they're clear like the devil's doing it. So they got it already. They already understand what's going on. Now this police will be important because this guy has some clues. His role is kind of small, but they are identifying that he is a force here to help this girl. He found something, and what is this that he's got here? And where it's driving him at, right?
Why do you
Probable, not certain.
All right, let's get to this part here. Now you can see. Okay, this is a good part right here. This one we can watch. Right. Now the connections happen after this scene here. Okay, right, okay. Now this is a big scene. This is a great reaction scene here for them. Okay, everything kind of seems normal. We can see they're kind of feeling the tension here. They're calling it seizures. What's going on with the girl, right? But look at their reactions when they see all this. And this is this is one of the most off the hook scenes in the movie right there. And their reaction is just absolutely tough. This girl's whooping her mom's ass, and you see the scarring in her face. Yeah, showing no mercy. Even their mother, that they're this demon is dangerous, shows no mercy. Yeah, it's real, guys. Look at that, man. Yeah, and see, that's a very powerful scene right there, right? The head turning around scene. You see their reactions these guys are having? That was damn near my reaction the first time I saw it. Because when I saw it, and I think I must have watched this is 1973. I must have watched this movie in like 84 for the first time. Conscious that what I was going to sit down and do. So it shocked the hell out of me. So for this is the first time they're seeing this in a film, and their shock is very predictable, right? They're just like kind of blown away by this. And this movie does a good job of drawing you in and bringing you out. They show you these very serene scenes of normal human life, and then this impactful scene of what's going on with them, right? He has arrived. They're happy because they see that the priest is here, right? I'm going to skip a little bit and get into like the priest scene a little bit more because I want to get to that part, right? Again, this is kind of showing like how, for us, how the process of an exorcism would work, at least for Western people in this community, right? And they recognize the man from Iraq, so his interest, why his power is important here, right? But let's get right into the nitty and the gritty of it, right? And now that he's on the scene, this is another like super impactful scene here. Before we really get into it, right? Him arriving at the house. They get now, there's 3 souls in the body. They see the priest, and this is like the drive-up scene. If I can find it here, it's super impactful. Right. Maybe it won't give me exactly that, but obviously when he pulls up, we know it's about to be on. So now we're getting to the actual fight. It took them a while to even identify what was going on. This guy arriving, like he has arrived, so they know like the real man. And you can see her like she's getting more intense. She's having seizures again. And it's just oppressive, like the sounds that she makes, how it's affecting everyone in the house. Like, devout, her money means nothing because she can't save the one thing that she loves with money. So we're going to pray. They're praying that God heals her. This is great empathy. Now, my only last hope is this uncle, this elder that they see. Yeah, this man is the hope. He brought luggage, and that means something. He's about to get into it, okay? 3 souls in here in total, in one body. And they know this ain't how it's supposed to be. So this is all the prep. And this is why she's experiencing what she's experiencing. This is a great scene, pacing-wise. You can feel the anticipation. In fact, God wants to protect her. If I go in this room, we'll just pee. They're all saying, if I go in this room, I'm just going to pee on myself. That's what everybody would do. It's the fear. And they recognize the ritualistic preparation. And she off the hook now. They recognize the spells being chanted. They're giving scriptures. They recognize the spells. Glory be to God. These guys really care about this. They're like, this is not good. Now she's fully in her power. She's in her prime. The prayer is powerful. They get the power of the prayer. Yeah, that bed flying in the air. That's an impactful scene right there. And they're like, oh man, right? What's happening? She's still an innocent girl. They recognize, like, the elder statesman, obviously. God will protect you. Yeah. Fully on display. Demonic power fully on display. It doesn't matter to him. He's about that business.
It is he who commands you.
Yeah. She shook the whole house. Yeah. They're shook by her power, right?
With the Father and the Holy Spirit. Defender of the human race.
Yeah. Her anger is just fully on display.
The servant of God.
I love the old dude, man. Like, getting so weird. Like, that's crazy. Like, old dude, you can see he's got his hands up. Like, this part is shaking the shit out of people right now. That's ill right there to see that. Right? There's always concern about this poor innocent girl.
God the Father commands you.
Again, where they're suffering, their care is about the suffering of this little girl. That's been the thing that's really stood out to me about these guys.
It's the Lord.
Right? They understand, like, the toll that it's taking on them. They have to succeed. What they're saying is this moment, right? They're tired. They're recognizing, like, how much this is draining out of them. Right. And just where their mind state is. So they're fully getting all of it. I don't think it's time to take a break. And I agree with these guys. You got to keep the pressure up right now. They needed more people. The condition will get worse. The demon's taking more. Can't have this unfinished business, right? That's 100% what they're saying. There will be more problems, more money, more problems later. You're not done doing your work. Get back to work. And this kind of shows the priest's weaknesses. I don't know how much they key in on that, but his hands are shaking. They see that. He's being affected. He's too old. Now we get back, and it's already affecting him. And, okay, this scene is impactful because now he can see his mother, so they understand the manipulation. Haven't identified how important his mother was. It's a trick. They see it as a trick. But they know how important his mother was to him. Yet he's falling for their tricks. They're getting it. They understand how the demon mind actually works. If you fall in this, it's going to get worse. They need to show intelligence. You need to think through this, right? And her ability to go back and forth isn't lost on them. Now, okay, this is important here, right? Because we see Film wise, the elder statesman is dead. It was true. They talked about his age. Now he's dead. And you can see how concerned all these guys are that he's dead because they believe she killed him. So they identify this. Now who's going to complete this work? Now they're worried about getting the work done. Someone has to finish it. And who does it fall to? This younger priest. Nothing will happen if you beat the ghost, right? You're just getting out the. But the spirit goes into him, leaving the girl and get inside of me. This is the ultimate sacrifice that he makes, and they recognize it. It has gone into him, and he kills himself in that split second. Once he has it, he kills himself. That's where the foreshadowing of that spot really was going to matter. And now Reagan is free, right? The priest is dead. You know, he's dead, so he's not going to attack. And they recognize the loss. They already recognize the loss. That she's cured, but it took 2 lives to save this girl. And they're going to have a little bit of conversation amongst themselves about how worth it was that 2 people died. But at the end of the day, you see that? The applause that Reagan is healthy and cured. So I feel like this is a great just film to kind of show some cultural ideas, kind of blending with some mythological ideologies and spiritual beliefs, and then wrapping that all around really great filmmaking for a culture that hasn't been experienced. They've been experiencing a different type of storytelling. So I drew a lot out of watching this. I think it's a great project these guys have put together. I'm going to link the original video so you guys can watch it in its full format. But just a great breakdown culturally of this scene, this movie versus this culture. And I'll be back. I'm going to kind of slice this thing up if you guys want to go to the channel. But we'll be back soon enough.